welcome to the Brownbread Mixtape!
Brown Bread Mixtape.
Very true. So if I say brown, you say bread. Brown, brown.
Hello, everybody. You're very welcome to the Brownbread Mixtape podcast, a podcast dedicated to independent Irish music and spoken word. I'm your host, Calla Ryan, and on musical mastery, audio technician, wizardry type of stuff is Enda Roach. And on this podcast, we interview some of our favourite past performers of the Brownbread Mixtape, and we also take a moment to listen back to some of our favourite live recordings from the show. So on today's show, we have with us the wonderful EleventyFour, and we're going to take a listen to her track, Jeff Nelson.
Who's that on the horizon, sitting atop his horse? Who's that rescuing all those kids? Why, it's Jeff Nelson, of course. Every country needs a hero. Every hero needs a name. You'll chant it loudly all night long and you'll never be quite the same. It's Jeff Nelson. He's Jeff Nelson. He's Jeff Nelson. He's brainy, brawny, brilliant. His ears are made of gold. His X-ray vision saved my life. Jeff, you really broke the mold. He's manlier than Brando. He's pluckier than Chuck. He'll sell his tash just to make you cash when you're down on your luck. He's Jeff Nelson. It's Jeff Nelson. He's Jeff Nelson. Some women try to tame him, but they're all wasting their time. For Jeff's a lonesome rider and he hasn't reached his prime. They say he's made from iron. They say he has no fear. He doesn't shed tears often, but when he does, they're made of beer. He's Jeff Nelson. It's Jeff Nelson. He's Jeff I remember that bit. Oh yeah, there's a Jeff Nelson in all of us. If we'd only set him free. The real Jeff is one of a kind. He's worth 10 of you or me. So let's raise a glass to our man Jeff and his ultra handsome face. Thank you, Sir Jeff Nelson, savior of the human race. He's Jeff Nelson. It's Jeff Nelson. He's Jeff Nelson. Jeff Nelson! Jeff Nelson!
EleventyFour is here on the podcast today. Very welcome. Woo! Yay! Welcome.
Myself.
Yes, that's good. That's good. That was Jeff Nelson. I think we can't actually even start the podcast without actually talking about Jeff Nelson really quickly.
I can't start my daily life without talking about Jeff Nelson.
I know, he's in all of our brains. Would you like to tell the audience very quickly what Jeff Nelson is all about?
Well, Jeff, he's a man like no other. There was a Brownbread Mixtape night where that was the night he first came into our lives. The real Jeff Nelson, he won the raffle at the Brownbread Mixtape, and your good self held up ticket number, whatever it was.
Yep.
And he came up to claim his prize, and you asked his name.
And he became the stuff of legend, really.
He did. I don't know how it started. I think you just gave him a real, give it up for Jeff Nelson, and everyone started cheering.
Jeff
somehow
Nelson.
the cheering, you probably
Jeff
started
Nelson.
the chant.
Yeah, Jeff.
And everyone started chanting. And it was packed, like there was probably 100 people going, Jeff Nelson!
Yeah, he really got a big round of applause that night.
People just went nuts.
Well, we thank you for writing a song about him. I'm sure he thanks you as well. But it's the stuff of legend. And in fact, you've been at the Brownbread Mixtape since the very, very, very beginning.
I have. I did the very first one.
Yes. Do you remember the theme?
The theme was the recession.
So we're still there.
Which is ancient news. Yeah. We'll have to explain to people what that means
in the future.
But you didn't want to use the word, so it was called the R word, I think, was the name of the show.
Dreaded R word, you're right.
The dreaded R word.
And yes, and back in those days, we weren't even in the Stag's Head.
No, it was downstairs in Sheebeen.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
No.
And yes,
How we've
indeed.
all aged.
Yes,
in
we're
the
all
meantime.
ancient these days. Well, so you have actually been with us since the beginning, and you've been a cool, a very big supporter of what we do. So we thank you for that.
I'm a big fan.
Thanks a million. And so I guess today is a great chance for people to finally hear a little bit about you and the stuff that you do. So maybe we'll kick it off with just hearing a bit about kind of where you're from and how you got into the music.
To music, I'm from Cork City.
Cork.
And I officially only got into music a few years ago, but really if I go back, I was writing songs when I was a teenager and in a band, but we never actually gigged. We would just rehearse. And so writing lyrics back then, but I couldn't play an instrument. So the lads in the band would come up with stuff and I'd record it on a tape recorder and go home and write lyrics. And I always wrote poetry all through my childhood. I've got poems from when I was 9 years old and all the way up. So that was always there.
So you were a singer then in the band?
Yeah, I was the singer, but not the guitarist or anything.
And then how did you become the EleventyFour phenomenon that we all know and love today?
That came years later because the band in Cork, I was kind of 17 or 18 and then I moved up to Dublin, and it wasn't until 2007 there was a guitar in the flat I was living in. Someone had left it at a party. I think it was my flatmate's brother, and I just picked it up and I just started strumming a few chords. I couldn't really play anything, and I got a book, Teach Yourself to Play Guitar book, and I learned a few chords, and then I realised, songs are only made up of a few chords. I can learn a song even though I can only play, C, D and an A or whatever. So I learned a song that I love, which I might play for you later.
Oh, brilliant.
And then I was just kind of hooked. I just couldn't stop.
And you just started writing songs from that
straight
point?
away. Yeah, straight away. I started writing songs about a month after I started learning chords.
But one of the things I think, when I hear your music, is that you've got a very distinct, unique voice already. There's something really that runs through all of them. Was that just from the get-go, or just that's the way your brain works?
Yeah, I never really set out to become a certain style of writer or anything. And when I started writing, I was going through a bit of a tough time, and a lot of the songs were very sad. And then I wrote the forklift song about stealing a forklift. That was the first kind of wacky song I wrote. Yeah. And then I started playing gigs way too soon. I was still figuring out how to play chords. I still am. And started playing gigs. And then the funnier songs or the sillier songs, they're much more fun to play, and the audience reacted much better. So I kind of eased off, kind of filtered out the sadder songs. And then the name EleventyFour was there from the start.
Yeah, tell us about that.
There's no real story. It was just a random name I needed to set up a MySpace. I tried 1259 and 11:8 and they were already used. I was like, EleventyFour, grand, that'll do. I never thought it would become my alter ego.
No, it is.
So yeah, but EleventyFour then has become this kind of fun, she doesn't sing sad songs.
Well, that's a perfect way to do it. And I'm also curious about how you write, because I've asked on other podcasts about this. Is are you a pen and paper kind of person, or are you I'll just say it into my phone, or how do you do it?
Usually I get one line of a song and a melody in my head, and it's just it comes together, and then I'll sit down with the guitar and just go from there. And then, I would think I'd be the kind of person who'd be a pen and paper person, but I'm a laptop writer because it's so easy to cut and paste and delete, and I like just being able to see it cleanly, and my handwriting is atrocious. So if the odd time that I have written stuff down, it's a mess. It's all over the page and scribbled out and everything. So actually the laptop's a very clean way of writing.
Yeah, it's a tough one as well, I find, if you're inspired in the wrong place. If you don't have a laptop, what do you do?
Yeah, I do sometimes sing into my phone the odd time, or I write stuff. Yeah, make notes in my phone.
Yeah, I think it's like the modern predicament. You have to get there. I've seen people texting lyrics to themselves as well.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay.
Yeah, it could just be a scrap of a lyric or a little snippet of a song.
And in terms of actual getting out there and performing, you said you kind of started well before you should have.
Yeah.
But that was probably a brilliant training ground to actually get better.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, actually. You just have to get better. And then one of the first gigs I played was in Pia Descalzo, this lovely cafe in Thomas Street, which is now gone, which is how I know Enda, through Jasmine and people hanging out there. And they would put on gigs. It was a lovely kind of cafe restaurant, with art on the walls and really beautiful place to hang out. And I started, all my first gigs were there, but the gig was like 3 hours long. You would play from...
You played for 3 hours?
Yeah, you'd have to play from like 6 till 9. And it was really scary. So I do a lot of covers.
I should think so. If
but
you
it was
hadn't
nice
written that
because
much.
I know I was only just starting, so it is kind of hilarious. Like that's the only time I've ever played for that long. Now I do like 45 minutes to an hour, and that's kind of
And that's a typical EleventyFour set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 3 hours would probably be a little bit much for anyone, really.
But I think what was good was that because it was a cafe restaurant, people were coming and going. Some people came specifically for the music, but other people who just popped in for a meal and then they would come and go, so they would just catch a little snippet of the set. Right. So, yeah, because I think if you were sitting there for 3 hours listening to the same person, it would get quite boring.
Unless it's Bruce Springsteen, I suppose, right?
You're saying I'm not Bruce Springsteen?
Not quite
How
yet,
very dare
but
you.
it's not quite the same demographic you're going for,
Not
I don't
quite.
think. Possibly, I don't know. I don't know what the average EleventyFour fan is compared to the average Bruce Springsteen
I don't
fan.
know either.
Well, we'll
No
have to...
such thing as an average EleventyFour fan.
Oh, good. That's nice to hear. Yes, everybody is welcome at the table of EleventyFour.
Yeah.
So you're going to play us a song of yours. I think it's a good opportunity to hear. So maybe if you can tell us a little bit about what it is and what to expect.
Sure. This is my new single called Snapshots, which is out on August the 10th on iTunes and Bandcamp and places. And actually, I wrote this for the Brownbread Mixtape.
Did you really?
I did, for the birthday, for the Twisted Pepper show.
Oh, yeah.
It was the Twisted Pepper's 3rd birthday.
Yes.
So I actually sat down to write a kind of a silly birthday song. And I just wrote the first line, "So today's your birthday." And then the rest of the song just kind of wrote itself, and it's not at all silly.
Fantastic.
So you never know where it's going to take you.
You're a Hall of Famer, actually, with the Brownbread Mixtape. In fairness, you've written so many songs for the Brownbread Mixtape or around the Brownbread Mixtape. The very first one, you wrote a recession song, which has never been heard since, I think.
That is true. That's the only time I've ever played it.
You did the Jeff Nelson, which we've already talked about.
And actually, for the second one, I was meant to play at it, but I wasn't well. And I wrote the kid song because it was when I was a kid.
Very good.
But I didn't get to play it, but it's still in my repertoire.
Fantastic. We've had such a huge influence.
But it actually helps having a topic, I find.
I find that too. It's the only way I can write. Cool. Well, so let's hear your brand new single, Snapshots. Cool. Take it away.
So today's your birthday and you're feeling pretty great. You've got your favorite t-shirt on, the one that says just go create. You've been drinking with your friends and you've been dancing up a storm. You've been thinking about what happened on the night that you were born. When your mother and your father were the same age you are now. They didn't think that they were ready, but they had to be somehow. You arrived at 3:30, the doctor said that you were fine. But your mother and your dad said you were perfect and divine. This is it. This is now, this is now, this is now. This is it. This is now, this is now, this is now. Supper's sweet in your mouth as you sit there on the train, with the music in your headphones keeping you from going sane. As you pull into the station, you can almost smell the sea. You want to dive into the currents and feel nothing else but free. But the moon's the only lamplight and the water's black and cold. So you write your name in the sand like a clumsy 9-year-old. There's no reason to feel sad, but tears are falling down your face. And you cry into the ocean so the tears won't go to waste. This is it. This is now, this is now, this is now. This is it. This is now, this is now, this is now. Your phone rings, your friend says he is going far away. And you talk about tomorrows and you talk about todays. He's put all his life in storage. He is setting out to see what is out there, what he's missing, if it's greener, if he's free. And you start to wonder if you could leave everything you know for a hair's breadth of a notion, for an upgrade of your soul. Stories to be told now, where will they all take place? A kaleidoscope of cities, in the middle is a face. This is it. This is now, this is now, this is now. This is it. This is now, this is now, this is now. Now every day's your birthday, 'cause you move beside the sea, and your mother and your dad are visiting and drinking tea. You pour through the photo albums and they tell you about the past, and you savor all these moments 'cause you know that they won't last. Now life is all a flutter and it's cozy and it's hard, but you're running through the rain and jumping over all the cars. Your friends catch you in a blanket and they swing you back and forth, and you're happy and you're dizzy and your heart is pointing north. This is it. This is now. This is now. This is now. This is it. This is now. This is now. This is now. This is it. This is now. This is now. This is now. This is it. This is now. This is now. This is now.
Yay! That was brilliant.
Thank you.
And tell us actually about the single itself. Is it just a single or is it an EP or what's coming?
It's a single that will be on an EP that's coming out later in the year.
Cool.
That's
So
the
do you have
first
the other stuff recorded already as well?
No.
No, that's coming.
Yeah.
I know just that song for me sort of feels like a spiritual sister to the Arlene Dream song of your first EP.
They're
a bit.
definitely from the same family of songs. Yeah.
It's a song I love as well. Actually, even just while we're on the topic of the first EP, tell people a little bit about that one and where you recorded it. And
I recorded it in Bray with a brilliant producer called Steve Lynch.
Stellar Steve
from Stellar Sound.
Yes.
Who was amazing, because I had just written all the songs as I play live just with a guitar and vocals, and he recorded some lovely piano and, well, we kept fighting over the banjo. I did not want banjo on the songs.
Did you
win?
win?
Kept pushing, I won.
Okay.
I think he snuck it in a few places. But he was brilliant, and I didn't want to over produce them or over embellish them. I didn't want them to sound a million miles away from what you hear live, but I did just want a kind of fuller sound, and especially the piano was beautiful. So I brought that out last April, the 11th of the 4th, EleventyFour.
Very good.
Yeah, what a nerd.
The Friend song one is a really funny one though as well, because you enlisted lots of other people to sing on it as well.
Yes, including yourself
and Enda
and loads of people involved in the Brownbread Mixtape.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that was Steve's idea actually, to get people to record themselves singing the chorus at home and then email in the MP3, and he mixed it all together, and it was great because it is about friends, and it was great having my actual friends singing on it. It's such a lovely idea.
Turned out great.
Yeah.
It's a lovely EP. Can people still pick that up?
Yeah, that's available you can order a CD online from me on Bandcamp, or it's in music shops around Ireland.
Cool.
Where you can download it on iTunes.
EleventyFour.bandcamp.com. Very
That's
good.
it. Yeah.
And will you record your new EP with Stellar Steve as well? Is that the plan?
I recorded Snapshots with a producer in Cork, Cormac O'Connor, and I'm probably going to do the rest of the EP with him again. And again, he added loads of other instruments to the recording. And actually, what I just played there is a slightly mellower version of the recorded version. He kind of somehow made it sound like a summer indie, happy, like indie pop song, and I love it.
Sounds great.
Like the lyrics are kind of introspective, but he's just, the production he's done on it is, I love it. It's fantastic.
Great.
And when I heard it, I went, okay, I want to play that with a band.
Oh, brilliant!
And that's happening now, because
so you'll have a band around you for the single,
for the launch. Yeah, it's a kind of a one-off. I'm calling it a pop-up band because
nice.
it's just for one night only in Dublin in the Grand Social. August 9th.
Who's August 9th? Grand Social. Mark it in your calendar, people.
Yep.
Who's the band?
The band are musicians that I already know. I've just kind of plucked and formed a band of merry men. Dave Power is playing bass. He's in the Dead Flags. Jerry Griffin's playing electric guitar. He was in Roller Skate Skinny.
Oh wow, cool.
Big Monster Love on keys.
Great songwriter.
Yeah, he's amazing. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
And Justin on drums. Justin plays with Fred. So I've kind of poached a few other bands' members.
It's like a greatest hits of other bands.
Yeah.
Nice work.
So it's great. It's so different playing with a band, because I'm just used to it being me and my own. But
So you've gone electric, basically.
yeah.
Great, excellent.
Judas.
Judas. Well, I look forward to hearing that. And is that something you're going to stick with, having a band around you, or are you going to stick?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of open to either. This formation of this band, I think, is kind of like the lads are quite busy with their own bands, so I think it suits everyone that this is a one-off, and we might do the odd one together in the future. But I'm kind of open to anything really. I think I love being a solo performer, particularly because I talk so much rubbish during my sets, and I can't imagine 4 people standing around going, "Would you hurry up and get on with the song?" So we'll see.
It's interesting as well. I'm really curious to hear what kind of songs end up on your next EP, because I felt like the first EP was very much those kind of quirky, wacky ones that you were talked about, and sort of the silly songs. But there's a lot of heart in them, and the Arlene Dreams sort of seems to bridge that to the next phase of these. Are there going to be quirky, silly ones, or is it going to be more that kind of that sound of voice?
Yeah, they are. The ones I've been writing more recently are more introspective and.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't written a silly song probably since Jeff Nelson.
Really?
And again, that's not a choice. It's not like I've said, right, now I'm going to be a more serious songwriter. It's just whatever comes out. Like, you don't...
Of course.
don't feel I can...
Well, I think that's great. I mean, also to move and change and do different things.
Yeah, and be
important.
open to, I'm open to the return of the silly stuff. You never know which way it's going to go.
Yeah. Well, it's not like they're going to be dropped from your set
Well,
list.
yeah, the set, I mean, people always go bananas for like the Cake song and, and Jeff Nelson. I mean, there's been people singing along with that the length and breadth of the country for the last 2 years.
Hooray.
So yeah, live, they're always so much fun to play.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think maybe we'll take one of your selections. So we'll maybe start with your music selection. You picked a song, and I know there's kind of special reason why you picked it as well. So maybe tell us a little bit about the song you picked and why.
Yes, I have picked Niall James Houlihan singing "Sexually Attracted to Myself,"
which is a fantastic and hilarious song.
Yes, I love that song. I've known Niall for a long time, about 12 years. And he was gigging as a singer-songwriter when I first met him. Actually, he was actually looking to start gigging. I don't even think he'd started gigging, because one of the first, we met through mutual friends, and he was kind of looking for gigs. And I was like, just go up and ask the man there. We were in a cafe, which doesn't exist anymore. And I was like, just go on up and ask him. And since then, he's gone on to do wonderful things in bands and several albums. And he's an extremely prolific songwriter.
Reader's Wives
is his band, yeah, who are fantastic.
Great
outfit.
band.
But Niall's just been an amazing support to me over the years, and he gave me my very first gig.
Did he really?
Yes, we were on holidays. We've friends who live in Sicily, and we went over to visit them.
I sense where the Cake song came from now. Yeah.
So I had just been learning chords and the guitar, and I'd written a couple of songs, and I was just kind of in my bedroom. I wasn't aiming to become a performer or anything like that. And he was playing a gig over there, and I think he said it to me on the day of the gig, or maybe the day before. Do you want to be my support act?
Brilliant.
And I was like, oh, I was terrified, but I said yes. And I think because we weren't in Ireland as well, it was much easier because I was playing for strangers.
Of course.
So I didn't have the name EleventyFour then, and I did mainly covers.
Right.
I did one or two of my own ones. So that he gave me my first break.
Great.
But since then, he's always been a massive support, and I'm a big fan of his, and I just love the song.
Cool. Well, that seems like a good segue. So let's have a listen to "Sexually Attracted to Myself" by Niall James Houlihan.
When I see myself, I see myself golden and covered in feathers. I'm better, I imagine, than you could ever imagine yourselves being. I think I might be gay, lads. Will you still be my friends? I'm sexually attracted to myself. I'm sexually attracted for that very reason. Sexually attracted to myself. I'm sexually attractive. Sexually attracted to myself for that very reason. Think I might be gay, lads. You still be my friends. I have seen the light, my love, and I know now it shines out of me. I'm rare and exotic like saffron. I am beautiful. Person who knows what saffron is over there. I don't want you to hate me. I'm sexually attracted to myself. I'm sexually attractive. Take a look. For that very reason. Sexually attracted to myself. I'm sexually attractive. Sexually attractive. Jesus. Why would you feed someone who's singing that song's ego? Sexually attracted to myself. For that very reason. I'll get to the other bit. We've all been sexually attracted to ourselves at one time or another. Oh, yeah. And it might not have been the best sex that you ever had, but it probably wasn't the worst either. Oh, 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 oh. This was me enjoying myself. Do it again. Do you want to do it with me? Oh, 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 oh. It kind of makes you happy. It's like Santa or something. So you want to sing it with me now? Because, yeah, you've all, you know. Fucking hell. Okay, so a big I, and then I'm sexually attracted to myself. You ready? Big I, big I. I'm sexually attracted to myself. Yeah, I told you the wrong thing to do. Sexually attractive. And for that very reason. For that very reason. Sexually, it's big I, big I. I'm sexually attracted to myself. Sexually attractive. You're so, yes, fucking gorgeous. I'm sexually attractive. And for that very reason. Think I might be gay, Dad. Will you hold the closet door? Cheers.
That was Sexually Attracted to Myself by Niall James Houlihan, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And I can see where maybe you get some influences there.
Yeah,
EleventyFour.
so. Yeah.
Slightly comedic, slightly brilliant. Cool. Well, I'm curious maybe to get your thoughts. It's the same thing I've sort of asked on a lot of these podcasts, is just about what it's like working as a gigging musician in Ireland and kind of what it's like even, or how, is it a good time? Is it a bad time? Where are the places that you like to play and what's it like?
What's it like, indeed?
Yeah.
When I started gigging, I think because I had no real agenda, you know, I wasn't on a mission to make it in the industry or anything like that. So there was no pressure and it was lovely. There was just loads of places to play. I mean, you're not getting paid to play or anything, but because it was really a hobby and just a lovely new thing to do, that wasn't an issue. And I found it to be quite easy just to get gigs and get to know people. And I didn't know anyone in the music scene. I had a few friends in bands and things, but they wouldn't really have been doing that kind of circuit of singer-songwriter nights and things like that. So I spent the first couple of years just gigging everywhere I could and found people really open, and there's so many different nights and they're still running, a lot of them. Some of them aren't running anymore, but there's just every night of the week there's somewhere in Dublin that you can play.
I think it's a pretty good time, or at least the sense I get from a lot of people I talk to is that there's there's definitely the good platforms for people to get out there and
Big
play,
time,
and not
yeah.
just pure open mic either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I did any pure open mics. It wasn't like just turn up with the guitar kind of thing.
Right.
I'd be kind of terrified, I think, to do that. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been in the music industry at any other stage, so I have nothing to compare it to.
Sure.
But people do say that in recessionary times that the creatives get flowing and going.
Yeah, I think there's probably some truth to that as well. But I mean, you're from Cork as well. I know that there's a fairly good, vibrant scene happening in Cork as well in terms of independent music and venues.
There's great stuff happening down there, and even in terms of record shops like Plugged.
Who stock the EleventyFour EP?
Stock the EleventyFour EP. They put on gigs. Yeah, there's lots of different nights on.
And the Trash Culture Review down there is a really interesting initiative as well. The Mutant Space Group, which is all basically like getting people who are talented to say, I'll give some time to doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
Have you played the Trash Culture Review?
I have, yeah. I did a couple of years ago and loved it. There's a really nice vibe around it. It's all very positive.
Yeah. And self, like DIY kind of thing as well.
Exactly.
I know you've played the Brownbread Mixtape, and we have listeners from all over the world, happy to say.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. Hello, internet. For the people who have only ever seen the Brownbread Mixtape on the internet, how do you describe it? Because it would sound gauche if I tried to describe it.
Describe the experience of the Brownbread Mixtape. Well, it's my favourite night to play at in Dublin, and it's my favourite night to be in the audience as well.
She's only saying that.
I'm not only saying that. They're prodding me. They're forcing me. It's as much fun, I think, being in the audience and playing. It's what I love about it is a mixture of complete raucousness when you're in the audience and then complete respect as well for the acts. So it's lovely, people really shut up and listen, and then they go bananas when you want them to.
That's great.
But the quality of the acts is fantastic every time.
Cool.
And you are an excellent MC.
Oh, thanks very much.
But that is down to you. I think really you get people going, and you hold up your hanger of
it says
silencio.
Applause. Yes.
That's been there from the start, has it?
The very first Brownbread, I made the applause sign with a coat hanger and some crayons at home.
And why would you replace it? It's perfect. Does the trick.
It's a bit battered now, but it still does the job all right.
But it's just so much fun. And because it's a mix of music, poetry, sketches, comedy, you're getting it all.
Thanks. Yeah,
covering all bases.
I think we kind of feel like we happily sit in a group of really interesting nights that are happening in Dublin. I'm sure there's plenty I don't even know about. Like that's the amazing thing about Dublin in some ways.
There's new ones starting all the time.
Yeah, and generally they're pretty good, you know what I mean?
They really are. Not just the ones I play at.
Yeah, right. Although they have an exceptional bar to achieve. I think there's loads going on. I mean, I know you're probably planning a tour as well for the single as well. Have you got specific
I've
places
some
in mind?
specific dates and some is still in the air. Dublin, the official launch of Snapshots is at the Grand Social on Thursday, August the 9th, and I will be accompanied by a band for a few songs, which is a first for me, which I'm really excited about. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
And the next night I'm playing at Cork, venue TBA.
Okay.
And I'm playing in Galway the week after on the 16th of August in the Cellar at Cuthogue.
Great.
And Limerick and Waterford and Belfast are all on the list as well, but all the dates will be on EleventyFour.com.
Cool. Okay, and
Check
that's where people can find out where it's happening. Yeah. Glad to hear my home city of Waterford is being represented as well. Represent. We actually had a great gig there, Brownbread one that you were with us on for the Imagine Festival a couple of years ago.
That was great crack.
In fact, speaking of which, we might as well play your next selection, which is actually from that particular gig. You've picked one of the sketches here. Actually, before we go into your sketch selection, I should point out that EleventyFour, aka Dorothy Cotter, is the only person other than the regular cast who has been a guest star of this Brownbread Players sketch comedy troupe. We asked her to play Cork in a sketch one night, which was typecasting, I suppose. Maybe we can talk about the acting in a moment, but tell us which sketch you picked and why.
Well, it's a series of ads.
It is.
And the one that I love was the Ronnie Talbot's Carpets.
Right, okay.
Point a train station, point a thing. It just cracks me up every time. I've heard you do it several times, and I just cry laughing every time I hear it.
Great. Well,
Genius.
so we'll play a bank of ads, including Dorothy's favourite, Ronnie Talbot's Carpets. So here it is from the Imagine Festival back in 2010, I think it was.
Hey Sheila, you're looking well.
Thanks, Tom. It's probably because I just went to McGuarty's Hotel somewhere in the Midlands.
Oh, McGuarty's Hotel somewhere in the Midlands. I heard they do a lovely duvet.
They do a lovely duvet at McGuarty's Hotel somewhere in the Midlands, and for only €49 a minute.
€49 a minute at McGuarty's Hotel? That's amazing.
It is amazing. McGuarty's Hotel somewhere in the Midlands is nearly always amazing.
Book now and duvet it up at a special McGuarty weekend break for only €49 a minute.
What are you doing, Tom?
I'm tearing up my duvet and going somewhere in the Midlands for McGuarty's hotel break.
Why do you have your duvet in the office?
Why not go for a weekend break at McGuarty's Hotel somewhere in the Midlands? Call us and book now.
It is the 21st century. The year is now. And the fate of all grillable meat is in the hands of one man sent back from the future to improve their flavour. That man is the Termarinator.
I am the Termarinator. I have come to marinate your meat.
This week at your local supermarkets, look for special prices on all Murphy marinades.
These prices are outrageous. All of the meats are saying it's time to marinate us.
Buy one Murphy's chicken marinade and get a pork ribs marinade absolutely free.
Hasta la vista, baby back ribs.
But hurry, only available while stocks last.
I'll be back to marinate you. Hello, this is How Are You? Welcome to our time. It is now. You have carpets that you need. Aren't you looking for them? Yes, you are. We are the people that you need it for. You have a carpet budget? Well, we have budget carpets. Come on down now to Ronnie Talbot's Carpets. Yes, Ronnie Talbot's Carpets, just near the train station by the thing. If you come by midnight time, we give you another carpet and a bowl. Is that what you want? Yes, it is. Don't worry. Don't waste time. Now's the time at Ronnie Talbot's Carpets. It's always carpet time for you.
All right, that was a series of ads, including Ronnie Talbot's Carpets.
I think you should do the rest of this interview in the character of
style
Ronnie
of-
Talbot.
Hello, Dorothy. This is How Are You?
Where's me bowl?
And the poll. No, that would probably be vexing for all
Slightly
people listening,
distracting.
and you included. And poor Enda has to listen to this on headphones as well.
And if there's people listening all around the world, they mightn't even understand.
Yeah, in
the
fact,
accent.
there's little or no chance of that. Cool. Well, I was hoping to ask you a little bit about influences and inspirations. Musicians maybe that you like or have liked or that have influenced you. Mm-hmm. Is that a difficult question?
I do find that a difficult question. I've been asked that before, and I end up kind of stuttering over answers because I think I've listened to so many different kinds of music over the years, and music's always been a huge part of my life as a listener since I was wee. But I kind of feel like you're supposed to answer with the kind of musicians that you kind of sound like. Like if I said like I was massively into the Smashing Pumpkins all through my teens, you're like, what has that got to do with EleventyFour? Right. So they have influenced me. You know, they must have.
Sure.
But that's just one band, for example.
Great.
Or whoever, Paul Simon, or you know. So then you kind of feel like I have to say.
You don't
well,
have to say anything.
I know I don't have to say anything. I just feel, but you know, if you do turn around and say, "Oh, I'm a massive Metallica fan," people would just be like, "What?"
I think that'd be interesting for people. They're like,
I'm not a massive Metallica fan.
Oh, you're not. Okay,
No.
fair enough.
But then, you know, then there are people like, say, with the more comic songs that I have, people like David O'Doherty, amazing
brilliant.
Irish comedian and musician, Flight of the Conchords.
Love them.
You know, they're incredible. They
Yeah.
kind of
I'd say they're at the
you know,
top of that comedy music
that
game.
genre.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what-
I
if
think
that's
I've
a
never.
genre.
Yeah, because not all my songs are kind of comedy and some of them aren't. And other musicians I admire are Laura Marling is an incredible lyricist. Yeah, she's very rich depth to her lyrics. Kimya Dawson from the Mouldy Peaches, I saw her play years ago. I think I just started playing, and that kind of blew me away. She was just really doing her own thing. She's not a really showy performer. She's quite introverted, and it kind of draws the crowd in even more. Now, I'm not like that at all, but I just really admired it. And I love her lyrics. She's just really honest and very sweet.
Great. And what about Irish artists? Are there any in particular that you've liked through the years or that you like even right now?
Oh, there's so many. Frank and Walters would be
Frank
one
and
of my
Walters
favourite
are
bands
fantastic.
ever.
One of Cork's finest.
Yeah, I got thrown out of Whelan's. I got barred from Whelan's for crowd surfing at a Frank and Walters gig about 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I actually went to the gig on my own. I couldn't find anyone to come with me, and I was like, "Feck that, I'll go on my own." And so, you know, when you're with your friends, you can put all your coats in a pile and your bags and stuff. Well, I was on my own, so I kept my coat and my bag was kind of over my shoulder, and I crowd surfed with all that on.
Great.
From the stage. I jumped up on the stage and dived.
Whatever.
I dave into the audience and crowd surfed. Crowd surfing is one of my favourite things to do of all time ever.
Wow.
It's an amazing feeling. And I crowd surfed all the way down to if anyone knows Whelan's, the steps near the bar. So kind of the length of the venue. And it was incredible. And then the bouncer threw me out.
How are you going to manage when they book you for Whelan
I've
someday?
played there since. They just haven't remembered. They obviously, well, now they'll be listening to this going, she's out. But yeah, the Franks are amazing.
They are a fantastic band.
Sons of Ping. Actually, Cork bands
Sons
in
of
general.
Ping are
Sons
a
of Ping.
fantastic band, yeah.
Whipping Boy would be an amazing Irish band that I crowd surfed at their gig last year in Cork.
This is a new insight into the world of EleventyFour.
It's the most amazing feeling. You're just literally throwing yourself at the mercy of others, but you're supported, you know.
By the safety of the crowd.
It's amazing. Yeah, at the Whipping Boy gig, it was in, maybe I shouldn't say where because you're probably not allowed to crowd surf, but the ceiling was quite low and my hands and feet were touching the ceiling at the same time.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah, my favourite thing.
Yeah, there is a lot of Irish talent, in fairness, in the music.
It's a huge amount. I couldn't even start really listing people. Like, there's so many people around.
Yeah, I know. And you sort of still... And even I have to say, like, I mean, not even of the established acts, of the bands we're lucky enough to even book. Like, I look at it and go, I can't believe how talented and how rich the talent pool is in Ireland.
It
You
really
know what I mean?
is. It's incredible.
Well, influences and inspiration seems like a nice enough point for us to hear you play a song by somebody you like.
Yes. This is the first song I ever learned how to play on the guitar.
Wow.
The chords are basically G, E minor, C and D.
So there you are, everybody.
There you
can
are,
play
folks
along.
at home. Take notes. Neutral Milk Hotel, they're a Canadian act that are no longer together. Although I went to see their singer
Jeff
do
Mangum.
Yeah, he did not Jeff Nelson now, Jeff Mangum did a solo gig in Vicar Street recently.
How was that?
That was gorgeous. That was a really lovely night. And it was just him on his own, and it was just as good.
So what's the song you're going to play?
The song is In the Airplane Over the Sea.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Yeah, it fell into my hands on a compilation CD I got at a gig in Cork. It was a Christmas gig, and they were giving out. There was a Santa there, and you sat on his knee, and you got Santa gave everyone a compilation CD. And another band that were on it were Magnetic Fields, and I'd never heard of them before, and I'm now a massive fan of theirs as well.
Great.
I should mention them.
So Santa totally delivered that year.
He really did. It was 2004 or something. So that is the song that I'm going to play.
Great. Well, let's have a listen to it.
What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all around the sun. What a beautiful dream that could flash on the screen in the blink of an eye and be gone from me. Soft and sweet, let me hold it close and keep it here with me. And one day we will die and our ashes will fly from the aeroplane over the sea. But for now we are young, let us lay in the sun, count every beautiful thing we can see. Love to be in the arms of all I'm keeping here with me. Now how I remember you, how I would push my fingers through your mouth to make those muscles move that make Your voice so smooth and sweet, but now we keep where we don't know. All secret sleep in winter clothes with the one you loved so long ago. Now he don't even know his name. What a curious life we have found here tonight. There is music that sounds from the street. There are lights in the clouds and a ghost all around. Hear a voice as it's rolling, ringing through me. Soft and sweet, how the notes all bend and reach above the trees. What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all around the sun. When we meet on a cloud, I'll be laughing out loud. I'll be laughing with everyone I meet. Can't believe how strange it is to be anything at all.
Yay! That was deadly.
Isn't it a lovely song?
It's a fantastic song. And lyrically so unusual as well. But beautiful, beautiful stuff. And a lovely version of it as well.
Thank you.
Well, I think I'm actually kind of curious as well. I should have asked this at the outset. I know you're into music and I know you act. You have another double life as an actress as well. And we might know you from certain things like The Savage Eye and The Clinic. You were an impatient patient.
I was impatient patient.
on that. But was there other musicians and actors and artists in your family?
Artists.
Or
My sister is an artist and now, well, she was an artist, now she's kind of an arty lecturer.
cool. Painter, you mean?
Kind of installations and sculpture and a bit of everything. My sister worked in kind of TV on the production side of things. My mum was a poet. I'm trying to think. There isn't really music. Like, I think we were all kind of sent to piano lessons and that kind of music. But my auntie was an actress. So yeah, there's kind of, it would be a fairly creative family, yeah.
Well, that's cool. And I think the sort of the acting thing is funny because I think you kind of have that as this separate life compared to the music thing.
Yeah.
Do you find that there's any crossover at all, or is it something that you kind of try and keep separate?
Yeah, I do try and keep them separate, and it's the reason I don't play music under my real name, because I wanted them to be totally separate. But recently I did a web series called Deadly Buzz, and that's the first time there's been direct crossover. Like, I've done a few plays where I've sang on stage, not necessarily musicals, but just done a bit of singing.
Yeah.
But this web series I was acting in, and I got sent the script and I really liked it. It was brilliant writing. And my character was a singer in a blues band. And the writer-director, Christian Craig, got onto me and said, why don't we make her EleventyFour? How would you feel about that?
Right.
So it was a bit of a head wrecker because I was playing this character called Jess, who isn't me.
Right.
And then she gets up on stage and she is EleventyFour and she plays like the Forklift song and stuff. Wow. So that was the first crossover, which was loads of fun. And that'll be out in the autumn online there.
Yeah.
Great.
It'll be streamed and Enda worked on it.
It should be premiering September.
September
Premiering
2012.
September.
Coming soon to an internet near you.
Keep your internet switched on for that one.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we'll maybe take a section here. We have your last selection of the day, which is a poem.
Yes.
So maybe tell us which poem you picked and why.
I picked a poem by Stephen Walsh, who performed this at the Imagine Festival Brownbread Mixtape in Waterford.
Cool.
And I'd never met him before, and he just got up and kind of blew my mind with this poem.
Yeah.
And the writing was just incredible. I was just sitting there, when your jaw just drops and you can't, everything else disappears and you're just honed in on this person. And I just thought he was an incredible writer.
Great. And I think on this track, he actually got Elder Roach to play a bit of backing with him as well, I think.
Cool.
So, cool. So let's have a listen to In the Kingdom of My Mind by Stephen Walsh.
In the kingdom of my mind, I live in a ditch. I burned down the big house a long time ago. Reasons Yeah. Yeah, reasons. But they burned along with everything else. So there I was, sitting in the ditch one evening in revenge season, stewing my supper over a smouldering sheaf of distant memories, and a scraggledy scroll landed on a scramble of scree. Told me I was wanted in the job, so I kicked some dirt over the re-members and I headed into the job. Long and the short of it, I won't bore you. I was getting a sack from the fuck factory for consistently refusing promotion. They wanted to make me supervisor. Well, fuck that. So I sat down, the shift supervisor gave me the usual belly load of shit. You've been with us now for I drifted off. I drifted right out the window and into the makings of a fairly fucking decent storm. With a fist of crayons, I wandered around in the sky for a while, scratching at the dying light, considering my options. The dying light was like a bumper colouring book of possibilities. I liked it. I got tired, wandered over to an old ancient oak that had every right to let its old bones creak and groan, but gave him no leave to, as it knew a little something about disturbing storms. Not meaning to flatter myself. I settled down, I had a snooze. I woke up once with thunder in the belly and fog in the head and, well, piss in the bladder. I needed to relieve myself. I stumbled over a little heap of gorse and I pissed a flash flood onto an astounded field of insomniac winter barley. Went back to the tree, went back asleep. Oxo, cubic. I lay down and I dreamed and I dreamed and I dreamed and I dreamed of insects. By the tens of thousands. Ways to kill, ways to die. I dreamed of a storm I once knew that had passed on. I dreamed of northern lights and I dreamed of hunger. And the hunger in the gut rot the dreams in the head until they crumble into consciousness. Stood up and had a good stretch. I'm not finished with you yet, said the shift manager. Look! Fuck. I'm fucking starving here and you're boring the living shit out of me. I'm going down to the canteen. I'm going to get a sandwich or some shit like that. I don't know. I'm going to fuck off, okay? I went down to the canteen. I ordered a plate of liver and onions, egg and chips, pint of milk. Food came. I ate it. I was still hungry. Back to the counter. Same again, if you don't mind. Well, I got a look. I got another look. Food came, I sat down and I ate it in a forest of silent trees falling. An old man that might have been me sat down opposite me. He was eating tomato soup. He was eating it like he was comforting a small child he didn't know too well. It's a great day, isn't it? He asked. Well, you know, I presumed that our oppressors had finally left town in a flurry of flags and cheering. Children. Isn't it? He asked me deferentially, and, well, then I suspected that he suspected that I was one of them, the oppressors, staying behind on the sly. He continued souping, darting glances from it to me, to it to me, to it to me, as if to say, please, take it away from me, I'm sorry. And I was vaguely aware of the yawning revenge bell in the ruins of the church in my hat. Look, sorry, bud. I'd like to help you, but it's out of my fucking hands. Finish your soup. Thank you.
Cool. That was Stephen Walsh reciting at the Brownbread Mixtape in Waterford at the Imagine Festival last year, or 2 years ago now, actually. So, Dorothy, this is pretty much the end of the podcast. Boo, aww. I know, but it's been brilliant having you here. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you for involving me in Brownbread Mixtape all these years.
A pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. So I guess maybe just before we go, can you tell people where they can find you online? I know you have a pretty healthy online presence.
I do. That's a very nice way of putting it. She's like a rat. My main website is, my official website is EleventyFour.com. And then I have a Facebook page, Twitter, Bandcamp.
Facebook.com/EleventyFour. That's easy.
Bandcamp, 1124.bandcamp.com. I'm on iTunes,
Jeez, you're
Twitter,
everywhere.
SoundCloud.
The EP is still on iTunes, is it? The
Yeah.
original EP?
Yeah.
And the single will be there as of the
As
9th?
of the 10th of August, yeah.
As of the 10th of
Yeah.
August. Okay, cool. And people can find out gig dates and all of that stuff
On all of those sites,
On all
yeah.
of those sites. And you should go out and see EleventyFour perform live. She's brilliant. And
now.
I know. It's true. It's true. Really, genuinely, she's one of our favourite performers and one of our favourite people. So really support her and make sure you buy the single. As you heard, it's brilliant. And we look forward to hearing you and seeing you at the Brownbread Mixtape again soon. So thanks a million for coming in today. And that's it for this episode. As usual, you can find us on the same types of social networks as EleventyFour. So we have a blog as well, brownbreadmixtape.wordpress.com, and at Brownbread Mix on Twitter, and there's a Facebook page, and there's a YouTube channel, and we are sometimes in Dublin, and you might see us on the street. You can talk to us, and all kinds of things like that. So,
Give out your address.
and we live in certain parts of Dublin City that we're not willing to disclose at this point. But no, please do support us, and please do support live art, live poetry, live music, live comedy. It's only going to be there if you keep supporting it. And so thanks a million for listening, as always. And please do send us an email and let us know what you think of the podcast. If you subscribe to it on iTunes, apparently there's a way you can give it star ratings, or you can give us comments. So do that, and then it makes it more popular, I think. So please do that, and we will talk to you again when we come back the next time. Thanks a million. Bye.
That was great stuff, lads. Mighty.
We're recording.
All right, grand. Hello, my friends. Agus Accordia. This is your leader here, Enda Kenny. I'm on my summer holidays. I'm just hanging with the boys here on the Brown Bag Mixture pod. Ah, feck. What's it called again?
The Brownbread Mixtape podcast.
Yes. Now, will you all get up off your seats, stand and rise and sing with me on the alternative national Irish anthem. Right, lads, let's head down to the Ginger Man for a pint. I'm buying.
A hen, a doe, a three, calorie egg.
My blood is boiling for Ireland. My blood is boiling for Ireland. Ireland, Ireland, Ireland. In Ireland, my blood is boiling for Ireland. Conus to talk to.
Tom Aiken Ma.
I will do a show.
Tommy on shot.
Conus to talk to.
Tom Aiken Ma.
I will do.
Tom Aiken look.
My blood is boiling for Ireland. My blood is boiling for Ireland. Ireland, Ireland, Ireland. Ireland, my blood is boiling for Ireland. Conus to talk to.
Tom Aiken Ma.
I will do a shot.
Tommy on shot.
Conus to talk to.
Tom Aiken Ma.
I will do a shot.
Tommy on shot.
My blood is boiling for Ireland. My blood is boiling for Ireland. Ireland, 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 in Ireland. My blood is boiling for Ireland. Come on, Ireland! Brownbread Mixtape podcast is a podcast. Well, it was a mixtape, but then it's a podcast. Well, a podcast is a thing that's on the internet. But the mixtape, well, it wasn't even a mixtape because we do a live thing, but that's not even a tape. Well, look at it. Sure, you know yourself. Brown.